I was thinking about the reports I'm getting of people who got stimulation impacts from using the GI1 powder, insomnia, maybe some agitation, and trying to work that through biochemically to see if I can figure out what's happening here. And I thought of something today. I was looking into some of Dr. Stephanie Seneff's work, and what she focuses her research on is the impact on the sulfur cycles caused by glyphosate. Glyphosate is the ingredient in Roundup. It's the reason we have GMO products, because they resist being killed by glyphosate so that the glyphosate can kill everything else around it but save the crop, right? And it gets sprayed on during growth, after growth. I mean, it's everywhere. There's literally nobody in the face of this earth that does not have some glyphosate exposure at this point. Even if you live in Europe, you're a little bit safer in countries that don't allow the spraying of glyphosate, but it can be carried in the water, it can be carried in the air. So definitely in North America, we all have it. So the science behind glyphosate, the people that manufacture it say that it doesn't stay in our bodies, it just gets peed out, which is great if that's true. But what Dr. Seneff is saying is that the glycine in the glyphosate, glycine is an amino acid, she's saying that can substitute in our enzymes in the place of glycine. Glycine is a very tiny amino acid and it binds phosphate. Well, you've got your glyphosate right there, your glycine bound to phosphate. So it can actually block the spot that glycine would normally take. That leaves the enzyme unable to do its job, right? They're very specific. So if you exchange a glycine for a glycine analog like glyphosate in a protein or in an enzyme, then it's not going to be able to work properly. The major enzyme groups that are impacted by this analog transfer are the sulfur-based enzymes, sulfonyluretransferase enzymes, and how that could play into what we're dealing with here, which might end up to be an okay thing, is that as you wear out these enzymes, you got to make new ones. So if you're keeping everything as clean as possible in your diet and you're upregulating your sulfur pathways using the GI1 powder, then you're forcing the body to make new enzymes. So as long as you're keeping things clean and not obviously eating sources of glyphosate, then you're going to create new enzymes that don't have that aberration. And that would be one explanation. This is a thought experiment. I'm not saying this is what's happening. But Dr. Seneff, MIT researcher, she has the data on how this is happening. And of course, the people that produce glyphosate don't agree with her. She's a pretty smart lady. I don't know. I'll have to look more into her research to be 100% about this. But thought experiment, right? Back to that concept. So if what's happening is that by taking the GI1 powder in the copious amounts you need to take care of IBS and SIBO symptoms, you're pushing those sulfur cycles so much that you're going to need to replace those sulfotransferase enzymes. And so you're going to need to make new ones. And so you're going to push out the ones that are replaced with the analog of glyphosate in the glycine amino acid area with fresh ones, and more of them, because you're going to need more of them to spin those sulfur cycles. So what if that stimulation response that you're getting is the release of the glyphosate? And we know that glycine is very stimulatory, right? When you have too much of it, it can give you that agitation, insomnia feeling. But the amazing thing about this is that so far in 100% of people that I've talked to about this, there's a time where that stops. And it's different for everyone, but there's a time where the insomnia stops, the agitation stops. So what if That's stopping because you have got a whole new set of healthy enzymes to help you metabolize the sulfur that you're getting. It's interesting.